I never really believed in that whole love at first sight scene people always talk about in movies. It sounded too cheesy, too unreal for the chaos that is high school life. But then it happened on an ordinary Tuesday morning in the middle of a boring math class. She walked in late, clutching her notebook to her chest, her hair slightly messy from the wind outside. I don't know why, but in that moment, the noise of the classroom kind of faded for me. She didn't even notice me. Why would she? Just another guy sitting 3 rows back, doodling on the corner of his paper. But I noticed her. It wasn't like a lightning strike or anything dramatic, more like a quiet click, a tiny shift in how I saw the room. I caught myself staring for a moment too long, wondering who she was, what her name might be, if she liked math, or hated it as much as I did. That was the moment, though I didn't know it yet, that everything started. It took me about a week to work up the courage to actually talk to her. I'd see her in the hallway, at lunch, sometimes in the library, always with a book in her hands, or headphones on. Her name, I learned from the attendance sheet one morning, was Mia. The first time we spoke was ridiculously unplanned. We were both stuck after class, because our math teacher had forgotten to hand out the homework sheets. She was leaning against the doorframe, scrolling on her phone, and I just blurted out, "Hey, do you get any of this algebra stuff?" She looked up, smiled a little, and said, "Not even close." That tiny ordinary moment cracked open something new. We started joking about how hopeless we were in math, and then one conversation led to another. Over the next couple of weeks, we found excuses to talk more. About music, about teachers we both thought were unfair, about how cafeteria pizza was both awful and addictive. Every time I walked away from those conversations, my chest felt lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because I was happy. Heavier because I couldn't stop thinking about her. High school has this weird way of making everything bigger than it is. One day you're just talking to someone between classes, and the next day, everyone acts like you're secretly dating or planning your future together. It started small, just whispers in the hallway. A couple of our classmates nudging each other when they saw us sitting together at lunch. At first, I thought it was funny. I even laughed when my best friend teased me about it. Mia just rolled her eyes when someone asked if we were official. But then, it got louder. People started saying they'd seen us holding hands we hadn't, that we were skipping classes together. We weren't, that I was obsessed with her. None of it was true, but it spread like wildfire anyway. Mia started getting questions from her friends. Awkward ones, intrusive ones. I could see her getting uncomfortable, and honestly so was I. We were just figuring things out, enjoying each other's company, and now it felt like everyone else was figuring it out for us. It all blew up over something looking back, feels so small. One Friday, I was texting a friend in class, a girl from my old neighborhood. We'd been friends since forever, and I didn't think twice about it. But Mia saw my phone light up with her name and half-joking message. "You still owe me that ice cream date." She didn't say anything at first, just went quiet. Later that day, I noticed she wasn't meeting my eyes like she usually did. By Monday, she was barely responding to my messages. I tried to explain, told her it was nothing like that we were just friends. But I could tell she'd already pieced together a whole story in her head, probably fueled by the same rumor mill that had been chewing on us for weeks. We ended up snapping at each other during lunch. I said she was overreacting. She said I was hiding things. It wasn't even a real fight. No yelling, no big scene. But it felt heavy, like something cracked between us, that neither of us knew how to fix. That week was the longest one I can remember. Every time I saw Mia at school, it felt like there was a wall between us that hadn't been there before. I hated it. I missed the easy conversations, the inside jokes, the way her face would light up when she laughed. So, I decided to do something about it. One afternoon, I caught her by her locker. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely talk straight. I apologized first. Told her I should have been clearer about my friendship with that girl, that I should have shut down the rumors earlier, instead of laughing them off. She listened, but her arms stayed crossed. "It's not just that," she said quietly. "It's how it feels like everyone's watching us, making stuff up. I don't even know what's real anymore." I tried to reassure her, told her that what we had was real, that I wanted to start over. Just us. No noise from anyone else. She nodded slowly, said she'd think about it. It wasn't a no, but it didn't feel like a yes either. It didn't happen in some dramatic movie-style scene. And no shouting in the rain, no dramatic running down the hallway. It was quieter than that, almost too quiet. A week after I tried to make things right, Mia asked if we could talk after school. We met near the benches behind the gym, where we used to sit sometimes. I already felt the answer before she said it. She told me she liked me. She really did, but everything felt too messy now. The rumors, the questions, the awkward stares. It had turned what was supposed to be something sweet and new into something exhausting. I just want to breathe again, she said. And I think you do too, even if you don't see it yet. I wanted to argue, to promise I could fix it, but the words got stuck somewhere between my chest and my throat. So I just nodded, even though it felt like 100 tiny glass shards were scraping at my ribs. And that was it. We walked away in opposite directions. For a while, I just felt empty, like I'd lost something I barely had a chance to hold. I kept replaying everything in my head. What I should have said, how I should have handled the rumors, why I didn't just ask her how she felt sooner. But slowly, the ache turned into something else, a kind of understanding. I realized that first love isn't always meant to last. It's messy, because we're still figuring ourselves out, let alone another person. I learned that honesty matters way more than trying to look cool or play it off. That talking about the awkward stuff early can save a lot of pain later. And most importantly, that love isn't just about the good moments. It's about how you handle the tough ones together. Mia and I didn't handle them perfectly, but that didn't mean what we had wasn't real. Now, a few months later, I can actually smile when I think about it. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it ended before it really began. But it also gave me my first taste of what it feels like to truly care about someone, and to have someone care about me back even for a little while. We still pass each other in the halls. Sometimes we say hi. Sometimes we don't. It's not awkward anymore, just quiet. And that's okay. If anything, I'm grateful. Grateful that I get to learn what butterflies feel like. What it's like to look forward to a message. To hear your name said in a way that makes your chest feel warm. Grateful for the lessons about patience, about communication, about not letting other people write your story for you. And next time, because I know there will be a next time, I think I'll be braver. After the breakup, things slowly settled back into their usual rhythm at school. The rumors faded, like they always do when something new comes along to entertain people. I started sitting with my old group of friends at lunch again, playing basketball after classes, wasting time scrolling on my phone instead of overthinking every hallway glance. But normal didn't feel exactly the same. There was this quiet gap in my day where our conversations used to be, and sometimes I'd catch myself looking at her table, wondering if she ever thought about me too. It wasn't sadness all the time, more like a soft ache that would show up out of nowhere. A song we both liked playing on the radio. The math classroom, where it all started. The bench behind the gym I now avoided. Life moved on, but I carried that little ache with me. It was my reminder that something real had happened, even if it didn't last. One thing I didn't expect was how much my friends noticed. Even the ones I thought were too wrapped up in their own drama. A couple of them teased me at first, the way friends do. But after they saw I wasn't laughing, the joke stopped. One afternoon, my best friend Alex just sat with me in the bleachers, after basketball practice, and said, "You know, it's not the end of the world, right? First love's realistic. Doesn't mean it didn't matter." It wasn't some huge deep conversation, but it helped. They didn't pressure me to get over it, or move on fast. They just let me talk when I wanted, or sit in silence when I didn't. I started to realize how lucky that was, having people around who didn't need me to pretend I was fine all the time. Slowly, I began noticing the ways I'd changed. He was more aware of my feelings, more careful about assumptions, more willing to speak up instead of letting misunderstandings fester. That first love isn't just about butterflies. It's also about learning who you are in relation to someone else. I started journaling again, scribbling down thoughts about Mia, about the rumors, about the fight, and about the quiet moments that had made me feel like my heart could actually burst with happiness. Writing helped me sort through everything that had been tangled in my head. Even little things, like pausing before responding to gossip or checking in with friends, felt like small victories. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was about me learning to handle life's messy parts with a little more patience and honesty. A few weeks later, I saw Mia in the library, tucked into a corner with her headphones on, flipping through a sketchbook. My stomach did that familiar flip, It had been months, and yet some part of me still reacted the same way. I didn't approach her. Instead, I watched from a distance, noticing the little things, the way she chewed her pen while thinking, the way her eyes lit up when she smiled at something she drew. It hit me that, even though we weren't together anymore, a part of our story had stayed with me. It wasn't the sting of heartbreak anymore. It was bittersweet. I could admire from afar, remember the joy without feeling crushed by the loss. And I think, maybe, that's when I really started to understand the gentle side of first love. It leaves a mark, but it doesn't have to hurt forever. Looking back, the biggest thing I learned wasn't about romance at all. It was about communication and trust. The fight with Mia wasn't caused by a lack of feelings. It was caused by assumptions, unspoken worries, and the noise of other people's opinions. I realized that being honest early, even when it's awkward, can save so much confusion later. That checking in with someone you care about isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign you value them. And that trust isn't built overnight, but it can be destroyed in seconds if you're not careful. I still get nervous thinking about new friendships or crushes. But now I know it's okay to be scared. The important part is to not let fear stop me from being genuine, because that's the only way the moments that really matter will happen. Even though it ended, I don't regret any of it. First love is messy, confusing, sometimes heartbreaking, but it's also exhilarating and full of small unforgettable moments. I learned what it feels like to care deeply about someone, to laugh with them, to share secrets, and to feel seen. Now I carry that experience with me, like a quiet warmth. It reminds me that love is worth the risk, that misunderstandings don't have to define a relationship, and that the lessons I've learned now will help me in the future. I think about the possibility of meeting someone new someday, and feel less anxious about it, because I know, even if it doesn't last forever, the joy of connection is always worth it. When I think about Mia now, I don't feel sadness like I did back then. I feel gratitude, grateful for the laughter we shared, the nervous glances, the whispered jokes in the hallways, but grateful for the first taste of what it's like to truly care for someone, and to be cared for in return. High school can be messy, rumors can sting, and misunderstandings can tear things apart. But first love teaches you more than just romance. It teaches patience, empathy, honesty, and courage. It teaches you how to handle disappointment without losing yourself. I'll always remember those weeks with a fond, warm smile. And I'll carry the lessons forward, hoping the next time love comes around, I'll be ready to embrace it fully, without fear, and with all the joy first love can bring.